Okay, we're going to move on to our final system, Texas Women's University System. Chair calls Chancellor Karine Payton and General Counsel Catherine, how do I pronounce your last name? Antwi. Welcome. Nice to have you both here.
It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
It's good.
Thank you. My name is Karine Payton. I'm Chancellor of the Texas Women's University System and President of the Texas Women's University. Chairman Creighton, Vice Chair Middleton, thank you for inviting me and having patience to stay till the end. I would also like to recognize Senator Springer and Senator West for representing TW Denton and TW Dallas so well for so many years. Thank you. And Senator King, it is always nice to see another North Texas neighbor. During the 2023 legislative session, when Senate Bill 17 was under consideration, I testified that Texas Women's University was committed to serving our diverse student body and that we were doing so effectively without a DEI office. That commitment remains as we sit here today, and we are just as effective at serving that diverse student body now without a DEI office. And at TWU, we believe that diversity is not the responsibility of a sole office, but really belongs to everyone. At Texas Women's, we take pride in our diversity, and as you know, Chairman Creighton, Texas Women's is tied for #1 for the most diverse institution in Texas and tied for the 4th most diverse in the nation. Diversity of people, of experience, of thought, of viewpoints are all essential parts of what makes Texas great and what makes Texas Women's University a vibrant place for free exchange of ideas. And I firmly believe that we learn best and we advance society forward when we expose people who think and look differently from ourselves. And we have a lot to gain from exposure to challenging ideas and shared experiences from people from all walks of life. So I do feel that diversity is of value to society and to Texas Women's. And I also understand that while celebrating our diversity is warranted, manufacturing diversity by elevating one group of people at the expense of others is not the way to achieve our goals. Opportunity belongs to us all, and we are committed to complying with Senate Bill 17. I believe that throughout the Texas Women's University system, both before the passage of SB 17 and after, we are doing things the right way to celebrate diversity and provide opportunity for all. However, there's always room for improvement, and this has been a learning experience for us, and I think that in the long run, we may find areas maybe where we overcorrected, and we appreciate the committee's feedback as we move forward. Since the enactment of Senate Bill 17, out of an abundance of caution and to ensure that we complied with the spirit of the law, not just the letter of the law, we closed our Center for Diversity, Inclusion, and Outreach that was within the Division of Student Life, and that was mostly funded with student fees. And we redirected those funds to the Center for First-Generation Students. Half of our incoming students are first-generation, and first-generation students often do not have the resources that non-first-gen students have. In addition, our data shows that retention rates for first-generation students is lower than average. College is a daunting challenge for any student, but to be the first in your family to attend college means there's no one to call on for guidance on how to overcome those challenges. The Center for First Generation Students serves our diverse student body in a race and gender neutral way and is focused on serving students based upon needs, regardless of their demographic background. We have also conducted a thorough review of all of our programs and found few areas for improvement. Anyone who owns, to use an analogy, anyone who owns a home understands that from time to time, it's important to go room by room and do some type of spring cleaning, so to speak. In order to better serve our needs. And Senate Bill 17 calls us to do just that. So I come before you today to report that we have scrubbed our house top to bottom, cleaned, reorganized, and that we are ready to serve our diverse student body just as effectively. And thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Very good, Chancellor. Thank you. Members, questions?
Thanks for being.
Appreciate y'all. So we've talked all through the day. I know you've had the benefit of hearing a lot of the questions, and we're going to move on next to public testimony. But It's fascinating to me, and I even commented during the debate on the Senate floor about the incredible diversity that you achieve with faculty hiring and with your student body population, right? Without relying on the DEI offices, that when those DEI offices have existed on other campuses, those numbers have moved backwards, which is just incredible to see the distinguishing characteristics. So you've had trainings and other things offered on campus, but it's accurate, you don't have a university-funded DEI structure. Is that correct? There might be student organizations that work to carry out the goal that don't receive taxpayer funds or what have you, and that's outside the scope of the bill, right? But for what you've achieved in your numbers, it's been excellent. So do you have even though you haven't had that infrastructure in the past, there's not a heavy lift to comply with SB 17, correct? But do you have a process in place, knowing that SB 17 is now law, that you can monitor from sort of the bottom up on anything that may surface that might be within the latitude of a certain department, or you know where I'm going with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So absolutely, we have our Office of Compliance is ongoing, doing an audit.
Yeah.
Office of General Counsel has been involved in that. We've just similarly to all the other systems that you heard, we've sent out messages, really did audits with the departments, the deans, share the information, have an FAQ that's placed on the website, trying to clarify the language. You asked previously on the previous panel if it was difficult to comply. I would say maybe clarifying, and so eliminating the fears that people might have, and really clarifying what it is and what it isn't, and what's okay and what, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That is more difficult than making the changes. We didn't really have to make that many changes.
Yes.
It's really managing people's interpretations and making sure that we're clear. And so the best practices idea, it's always a good idea. You know, the more we can be clear, the better.
It's exactly right. I mean, we've talked many times as a committee about the misunderstanding about, I mean, it's jarring to hear that the nomenclature, right, the terminology is being removed in any aspect, right? That doesn't mean that a goal to seek more diverse outcomes, certainly diversity of thought, and making sure everyone feels welcome on the campus and that no one's excluded, as we were seeing under DEI units in university situations across the state, that exclusion. And as we saw the plea and cry for help to maintain inclusivity, at the same time, we saw one of the greatest examples in these protests over the past couple of weeks across the nation of exclusivity by those that were attending both protests related to a DEI ban and a protest related to Israel's response to the Hamas attacks on October 7th. So that's quite a bit of hypocrisy going on there. When you argue for inclusivity and maintaining DEI, but you're participating in one of the greatest examples of exclusivity that we've seen in modern years in America. So, thank you for what you're doing to achieve true diverse results. And then for council, I just wanted to ask your opinion that on the question that I had stated earlier to a couple of different systems related to that intersection between public information requested and what is and is not work product that would make that attempt to shine a bright light on the workings of the university and instead label that not discoverable, not recoverable for the public to see because there's been legal advice tied to that effort, so it's privileged.
Senator, candidly, my colleagues before me have all answered it so eloquently
Yeah.
that I fear that I really cannot replicate an answer that's even better. And really just to echo everything they've said, the act is meant to, it's the public's records, right? And so
Yes.
it's meant to reflect that it belongs to the public. But There are exceptions that do allow for candid conversations with leadership, right, to be, so that we can, in our role, advise and counsel, right, knowing that they are the ultimate decision makers and that they are the ones that waive the privilege. And so part of our role is to protect the institution to the extent that the exception permits it and they would like to maintain the privilege. But we do seek to always open information to the public. But again, I think my colleagues did a far better job at answering the question, so I don't know that I can do it any more justice.
Well, your testimony in the sense of just agreeing with their sentiment and their answers tells me where you are. And again, would you, for the committee record, would you state
Yes,
your name?
my name is Catherine Antwi. I'm General Counsel, Board Secretary, and Chief Compliance Officer for Texas Women's University.
There's great concern not only for the genuine efforts to comply with Senate Bill 17 among members of the public, but there's also great concern being expressed by members of the public that it's easy to hide the inner workings of the university, even though the Freedom of Information Act exists, because if there is a privileged work effort going on or a work document that is tied some way, shape, or form to legal advice, then there is no sunshine in the effort at all. And so that's why I continue to ask the question is, in this particular regard, there's it's not as much pertaining to your institution at all, but it is getting your feedback while we're in a public setting, right? And just knowing that if it's your mindset that the public deserves disclosure, then it would be your best efforts to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, members, any other questions for our final panel on
I have a bunch of questions.
invited testimony?
As always have.
Thank you both for
Thank
being
you.
here,
Thank you.
always being present during the session, Chancellor, and just allowing us to rely on you. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.